Should be good. All right, we're back in the third period. Sorry for a little delay getting started. 16:43 on the clock. Bell Tire with possession. Shot down to Martin. Martin's shot. It's turned aside, flipped back out. Bell Tire on a power play still here for another 20 seconds. Drop down from Markovic to Dobbs. Dobbs with possession behind the Big B net. Stepped in. Martin moving it around back to Agbe. Agbe to Markovic. Markovic dropping it up to Flanagan. Flanagan shot in. Gets tipped down, picked up by Dobbs in the corner. Markovic sending it back down to Dobbs. Dobbs trying to move it ahead. Grabbed and gloved by Big B's goalie. Freeze play. So third period, Bell Tire up 2-0. Bell Tire's line change is going to bring out Kazarowski, Palucci, Hewer, Caitlin Flanagan, and Martin. Hewer on the draw. Kazarowski with possession, sending it back down to Caitlin. Caitlin to Palucci. Palucci behind the Big B net, trying to chip it around for Kazarowski. Big B with possession now, coming up through. And it's going to go wide and be picked up by Kazarowski on the corner. Sent down deep, tipped into play. This is going to be chased down by Martin down in her own zone. Moved up the board, sent around for Caitlin Flanagan. Flanagan going up to Kazarowski. Kazarowski just off her stick. Gets it out and goes down into Big B zone. Morton stepped in now for Bell Tire on D. Morton with possession is going to dump it down deep into the Big B zone. 15:30 on the clock in this third period. Chased down Cruciano. Now Flanagan stops her at the blue line. Shot in. Shouldered aside by Big B's goalie. And now Clemens rushing in. Morton with possession. Morton sending it just over half ice. And Big B's going to push that into the Bell Tire zone momentarily, where it's picked up by Flanagan. Sending it ahead. It missed the mark on Cruciano. And goes the length for icing. All right, as we get going back again, we've got Agbe, Markovic, Dobbs, Mackenzie Flanagan, and Morton on ice for Bell Tire. Picked up by Markovic, sending it ahead for Dobbs. Dobbs taken down as she tries to exit the zone. Picked up by Agbe. Agbe sending it down deep into the Big B zone. That's going to be picked up by Markovic as she's taken down a little bit of the half wall. Stepped in by Flanagan. Flanagan sends it ahead for Dobbs. Dobbs turning in the corner. Backhand and looking for Agbe. Agbe going back the opposite way. Agbe in the corner. Dobbs now stepping in to help. That puck makes its way free to the half wall. Picked up by Morton at the point. Morton sends it back down deep into the Big B zone. Big B at the half wall. They're going to slam it out into neutral, where it's picked up by Mackenzie Flanagan. Flanagan moving it ahead, finding Clemens in stride. Clemens shot goes wide over top of the net, picked up by Clemens off the back wall, and Clemens sends it down into the corner where she keeps possession. Clemens just battling back there, mowing through Big B players. Finds Evans. Evans down to Bowman. Bowman sends it in. Shot in. That goes wide of the net, picked up by, I don't even know who's down there anymore. The puck here, the play's blown dead, as there was a mess in front of that net. Bell Tire keeping their same lines out there. Got Evans, Cruciano, Clemens, Flanagan, and Bowman. Big B in neutral here, coming down up into the Bell Tire zone. Shot goes wide of the net, goes up the half wall. Picked up by Big B. Skated out by Clemens, out to neutral. Evans with possession. Evans going off the glass, going over half ice. Cruciano in the hunt here. Big B at center ice. Palucci gets a stick on it at the feet of Cruciano. Wide for Big B, shot in, gloved by Grun, set down, picked up by Mackenzie Flanagan. Flanagan going up ice. Flanagan moving it up ahead. Chipped in by Big B, and that's going to find Palucci, who sends it back for Hewer. Hewer gets a shot off that's blocked out front, and Palucci steps in. Palucci, centering pass, just past Kazarowski's stick. and sent up by Bigby. This is defended by Martin. Martin stepping in at the half wall, keeping that puck down at the half wall. Palucci jumps in and pushing Bigby's player down. Shot in is going to get covered up by Grun. Freeze play. So stepping out is Dobbs, Agbe, Markovich, Caitlin Flanagan, and Martin. 12:41 on the clock. Dobbs on the draw. Puck is down. Bigby with possession, up to their point. On the half wall, Martin freezing up on the wall here. Picked up by Dobbs, sent ahead to Agbe. Just off her stick. Bigby with possession now, sending it back down deep into the Bell Tire zone. It's going to be picked up by Dobbs behind her net, moving it ahead to Martin. Martin grabbing it at the half wall, moving it up ahead. And Markovich now picked up at the half wall again, sending it wide, finding Agbe. Agbe at half ice. Agbe gaining neutral, now into the Bigby zone, moving it around, trying to get a step ahead. Goes to the corner by Bigby. Clemens, Evans stepped out for Bell Tire. And now Cruciano. That's going to roll down the length here and find Caitlin. Caitlin moving it around to Martin. Martin going up ahead, finding Cruciano, chipping it ahead to Clemens. Bigby intercepting, playing it to the boards. Now picked up by Clemens. Clemens moving it into the Bigby zone. Martin going for a change. Morton stepping out. And Clemens now behind the Bigby net. Sending it back. Centering pass. Just missed its mark. Picked up by Caitlin Flanagan. Dropped down for Cruciano. Cruciano centering pass. Sticked aside by Bigby's goalie. Cruciano lost an edge as she was going to chase. Sent ahead into neutral. Chased down by Morton. Now Palucci on ice for Bell Tire. Down into the corner of her own zone. Sending it ahead for Morton. Morton at the half wall. Chipping it ahead for Hewer. Kazarowski in stride. Kazarowski one-on-one. Kazarowski shot. Wide of the net. Picked up by Hewer here at the half wall. Hewer dropping it down low into the Bigby zone. Picked up by Palucci in the corner. Kazarowski in the battle. Palucci comes out with the puck. Drops it down for Mackenzie Flanagan. Rolls off her stick. Circles in neutral and sends it down into the Bigby zone. Bigby was possession at the half wall, now in the corner. Sent back around. They're going to come wide. That's going to get blocked by Hewer. Picked up by Flanagan. Flanagan shot in. Turned aside by Bigby's goalie. Picked up by Kazarowski on the half wall. Sending it down deep for Hewer. Hewer behind the Bigby net. Bigby coming out again up to the half wall. Now out to the point. They send it back into their own zone. 10 minutes and 20 seconds on the clock. Bigby exiting here into neutral. Picked up by Bowman. Bowman going wide to Flanagan. Flanagan moving it off the wall, finding Markovich, who backhands it into the zone, chased down by Agbe. Agbe in the corner, moving it around for Dobbs. Agbe walking out. Agbe in the slot, backhand shot is going to get covered up by Bigby's goalie with 10 minutes on the clock. Bell Tire line change is going to bring out Caitlin Flanagan, Markovich, Dobbs, and Agbe. We restart play here. Puck is down. One back by Bigby. Bigby behind their own net. Moving it up to the half wall. Going cross ice. Dobbs keeping the pressure on. Martin going to send it back down deep. And Bigby with possession in their own zone. Going D to D. Now coming up to neutral. Chased down by, it's Evans. And sending it down deep is Bigby. That's going to make its way all the way in. Chased down by Caitlin Flanagan, who freezes it on the board, waiting for Evans to jump in. Flanagan coming around, pushing it up the boards. That's going to get hung up by Bigby at the point. Picked up now by Martin down in the corner. Caitlin Flanagan, sending it around for Evans. Evans moving it up ahead for Cruciano. Cruciano moving it back for Evans. Martin's going to grab it here and move it around the boards. She's going to find a little bit of room here. Come up through. Martin going up through neutral. Martin gaining the zone. Martin turning the corner. Martin shot. Martin's going to find the back of the net as she carries out through neutral. And it's going to put Bell Tire up 3-0 against Bigby. All right, the 16s back there supporting their 19s. on this state's week in Taylor. We're going to have a timeout called here.
She had him on the table right from here.
Kurt. There's Kurt Dobbs, everybody. He always makes a cameo. Got Rob Hewer. Rob Hewer. Laura. Oh, there's the grandmas waving. All right. Timeout is over. Beltire starting back up again. Grun going back to her net. Kazarowski, Palucci, Hewer on ice with Mackenzie Flanagan and Morton. As we get moving again, that puck is won back. Flanagan with possession, moving it up ice. Hewer chipping it ahead for Kazarowski. Kazarowski gaining the zone and Palucci just going off sides. I disagree with the call. All right. We're going to have a draw just outside of the Big B zone. Hewer on it. Puck is down, frozen up, one back. Flanagan moving it off the boards, looking for Palucci. Palucci going down to the ice, getting it back to Flanagan. Flanagan shot in, going to get turned aside. Palucci sending it back on net. Sharp angled shot, but very accurate by Palucci. Picked up by Hewer in the corner. Sending it back to Morton. Morton backhand up to Flanagan. Flanagan moving it around. Beltire looking like they're on a power play here. Fun fact, they are not. Palucci sending it back up top for Hewer. Hewer in the slot. Oh, just over top of the net. Morton sending it back down deep. Kazarowski sending it around to Palucci. Palucci backhanding up to Flanagan. Flanagan collecting at the point. Sending it back in, wide of the net. Morton stepped in at the corner, picking it up. Morton dropping it back, looking for Kazarowski, but that's not going to quite make it. And Big B's going to send it the length of the ice. The freeze play. 7:56 on the clock. Line change for Beltire is going to bring out Dobbs, Markovic, Agbe, Caitlin Flanagan, and Martin. All right, on the draw, puck is down. Agbe sending it around. Big B picks up in their own zone. Coming up through neutral here. Stepped in is Markovic. Now Martin picking up. Stops the onrush. Picked up by Martin. Moving it up ice. And that play, she was looking for Agbe going wide. Just gets intercepted. Picked up by Martin now down at the half wall. Sending it up the wall. Looking for Markovic. Markovic trying to battle to get it out. Dobbs stepping in to help clear that from the zone. Down into the Big B zone. Up into neutral. Moving it up. This is going to be defended by Flanagan. Flanagan dropped. I'm sorry. That was dropped by Big B. Picked up by Agbe. Flanagan sending it ahead for Markovic. Markovic now one-on-one. Markovic going to drop for Agbe. Agbe back to Markovic. Markovic. What a play by Markovic and Agbe. Holy smokes. That's going to put Beltire up to 4. What a pass back and forth. Tic-tac-toe. Here we go. Beltire. All right, Beltire restarting here. 7 minutes. Floodgates opening. Evans, Clemens, Cruciano, Mackenzie Flanagan, and Bowman on ice for Beltire. Down into the corner. Bowman sending it up the wall for Clemens. just past her stick. Evans stepping in to help out. Clemens, and that puck getting down deep. Beltire not letting it happen, and a slap on Clemens, but she keeps moving forward, taken down in the process, and Evans trying to send it back to the back of the net. Rolled around in the corner, picked up by Clemens. Bigby with possession, coming up through. Clemens on the hunt here, drops it down deep into the Beltire zone, picked up by Flanagan. Flanagan moving it around into the corner. Evans stepping in to help. Bigby shot in, gloved by Grund. All right, on ice for Beltire is going to be Caitlin Flanagan, Martin, Hewer, Palucci, Azarowski. Hewer on the draw. 6:19 on the clock. Puck is down, picked up by Martin. Martin moving it around for Flanagan. Flanagan moving up ice. Intercepted at neutral by Bigby. Chased by Kazarowski. Kazarowski getting her stick on it. Palucci picking it up. Beltire back up the hunt here. Palucci driving around. Down into the corner where it'll be picked up by Hewer. At the half wall, sent into center, picked up by Flanagan. Sent back down deep into the corner. Sorry, that angle is terrible. I'm trying to get it for you guys. And now down behind the Bigby net. Looks like Palucci is waiting for the whistle. So we'll have a restart here just outside of the Bigby zone. And that is going to be Dobbs, Market, Agbe out there with Caitlin Flanagan and Martin. Dobbs on this draw. Puck is down. Bigby with possession. Defended by Martin. They send it down deep into the Beltire zone. Picked up by Caitlin Flanagan. Flanagan moving it up to Markovich. Markovich hitting the wall. Turn it up. Finding Dobbs. Dobbs sending it ahead. Bigby with possession in their own zone. Dobbs on the hunt. Markovich intercepting the errant pass. Sending it out front. Agbe's going to find the pass from Markovich. So here we go. Markovich and Agbe just playing, passing back and forth, finding the back of the net. That's going to put Beltire up by 5 here with 5:18 remaining in this period. And Beltire line change is going to bring out Evans, Clemens, Cruciano, Bowman, and Mackenzie Flanagan. As we get moving here, puck is down, Flanagan with it. Mackenzie taking it down into the corner, turning back up ice at the half wall. Moving it ahead for Evans. Evans trying to chip it around, finally gets possession, sends it down deep. Beltire back to work. Cruciano on the net, tripped up on the play. Clemens in to help. Clemens with possession. And down into the corner. Sending it around is Bigby. Stepped in is Flanagan. Send it on net. Clemens now. Shot gets tipped. Goes up into the rafters and out of the ice surface. Freeze play with 4:39 on the clock. Morton and Caitlin Flanagan stepping out on ice for Beltire. Cruciano, Evans, Clemens remaining on ice. Puck is down at the half wall. Bigby sending it rink wide. Morton. And that puck goes wide, picked up by Evans. Evans going back the opposite way. Morton down into the corner at the half wall, trying to send it up for Cruciano. Cruciano stepping in. And now we've got Beltire battling on that wall. Just frees that puck up, and that puck goes back the opposite way to the corner where it's going to be picked up by Caitlin Flanagan, chipping it ahead. Trying to find Clemens, picked up by Morton, chipping it back. Now we've got Flanagan sending it back for Evans. Bigby behind the Beltire net, trying to come out front. Sending it wide, finding their target. Making a move. Clemens trying to block. Out front, picked up. Cruciano trying to clear. And Clemens going to get it out as they're going to go for a line change. Hewer, Kazarowski, Martin, Morton, Palucci. Martin with possession down in her corner. Martin moving it up the boards. Gonna not be tipped, and that's gonna get almost chased down by Palucci. So that'll come all the way back down here for an icing, and we have 3 minutes and 27 seconds. Third period, 5-0 Bell Tire. Hewer on the draw. Puck is down. Hewer tied up. Kazarowski stepping in to try and help. Bowman stepping in to try and help. And Kazarowski walks out. Half wall. Sends it down the boards. It's going to be icing wave. Palucci's going to win that battle. Foot race. Palucci going to come up here, circling, and it's tripped up on the play. We have no call on that. Wow. That was a clear trip. Martin stops the on-rush, picked up by Kazarowski. Palucci's going to go to the bench as she lost her stick. Kazarowski sends it across to Hewer. Hewer's chip in. Hewer behind the net. Kazarowski moving around. Kazarowski centering to Markovich. Markovich gets the shot off, and that's going to be covered up by Bigby's goal. All right, so Mackenzie Flanagan, Morton out on ice for Bell Tire with Dobbs, Markovich, and Agba. 2:43 remaining here. Flanagan shot in at this. It gets hung up at the skate of a Bigby player. Chased down by Morton, picked up by Dobbs, sent down deep for Agba. Agba centering pass for Markovich. Markovich one-timer. I thought that was in the back of the net. I'm not sure how it didn't go in. Picked up by Morton on the point, kept it in, dumped in by Dobbs, sent back out by Bigby, picked up by Markovich. Markovich turns and fires it back down deep. And we are getting down to 2 minutes and 10 seconds remaining here in this game. Picked up by Clemens here at half ice. And now sent down into the Bell Tire zone where Flanagan has it. Flanagan moving it around. Over to Morton. Up to Dobbs. We're going to have a slashing call. I'm not sure where that happened. It must have been on the backside of the play. But Bell Tire is going to go up on a power play here for the last 2 minutes of the game. 1:52 on the game clock, 2 minutes on the power play. So Clemens Palucci is out with Hewer, Martin, and Caitlin Flanagan. Palucci on this draw. Puck is down. Palucci won it back to Martin. Martin going up top to Flanagan. Flanagan working it around over to Palucci. Palucci at the half wall. Back to Flanagan. Flanagan back to Palucci. Palucci walking in. Shot in. It's turned aside. Picked up by Hewer. Hewer going up top to Flanagan. Flanagan. Back across to Palucci. Palucci now up at their point. Back to Flanagan. Flanagan with possession. Down to Palucci. Down to Hewer. Back out to Palucci. Palucci backhands to Flanagan. Flanagan trying to get it down to Hewer. Hewer in the corner. Hewer up to Flanagan. Flanagan back to Hewer. Hewer walking. Hewer shot. Goes wide, hits the point, and comes across. Hewer's going to get a penalty there on a hip check. So Hewer's going to go to the box here with 55 seconds remaining here in play. That'll put us in a 4-on-4. And we're going to have a Bell Tire line change, bringing out Morton and Mackenzie Flanagan. Out with Cruciano and Evans. 55 seconds remaining. So be Evans on the draw. She wanted forward, but able to get it to Flanagan. Flanagan sends it ahead. Chased by Cruciano. Morton stepping in the neutral ice here. Picked up by Flanagan. Mackenzie circling. Back behind her own net. Gonna move it ahead at the half wall, picked up by Bigby. Moved ahead by Cruciano. Picked up by Bigby, shot in. Blocked by Grund, what a save. Sent ahead by Flanagan. That's gonna be a foot race with Evans and Bigby. And sent back out to neutral by Bigby. Bigby sending it back into neutral. At center ice, Bigby gaining the zone. Cruciano containing. Sent down deep. We're gonna have 7 seconds remaining here. Bigby sending it out front. Picked up by Cruciano, chipped out. And that will be the end of the game. Bell Tire is gonna go home with a victory over Bigby in game 1 of States. We will see you all tomorrow, 7 p.m., same place, against Honeybaked.